much better day today. We cleaned up some things from yesterday, so I thought yesterday's practice was solid, but there were some things we needed to clean up. Got after it today, made the corrections, cleaned it up, and had a really good practice. Just spoke with Coach Roberts coming in as we come into the facility just now. Asked him how it went, and he said he thought it was pretty good on the defensive side as well. So. Good day. I'm glad to get back home in the swamp. Obviously, it'll be our first game back here in a long time, since October 18th. Obviously, it's going to be really important for us to go out and play in front of the fans. Our fans, obviously, to me, mean a ton. They're the best fans in the country, in my opinion. So we're excited. We're going to need them. Obviously, we have a tough team coming in, and I've been in that stadium before where they've kind of been a home field advantage, and they've helped us win some games. So I'm definitely excited to get back in front of them. Our players are, obviously, 17 straight sellouts. So it tells you a little bit about the power of Gator Nation. I'd also like to congratulate Trey Burton on behalf of Gator football for being inducted into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame tonight. Was a fantastic player. Obviously had a really good, super good pro career. Everybody remembers the Philly special, so that's one thing that'll always be something that's memorable for us to cheer on for. So at that time, any questions that y'all have, I'd be more than willing to answer.
The Aaron Childs fullback experiment, how did that come about? Was that something that was even before you, or something that you and the staff kind of?
No, I think the staff, obviously you're looking for guys that have the ability to hit something downhill. Obviously a linebacker, big linebacker like he is, kind of a natural fit. He does a really good job at it. And he takes pride in it. I think that's probably the most important piece. But he's a willing blocker, and again a very physical blocker. So we're excited to have that opportunity to continue that process with him.
A report today that George Gums will undergo surgery this week. Just how is he handling everything right now, and do you anticipate him maybe even being back for FSU, or is that something that
I don't? He had surgery this morning, so he had knee surgery this morning. Came back. I just saw him come back down to the training room a little bit later after surgery. Went really well. Dr. Farmer, I believe, was the doctor that did the procedure. Was in great spirits, which is something that you always want to make sure. I always tell the players again, continue to think positive. I really believe by thinking positive and being positive, the body heals a little bit quicker. So. But yeah, it's for him. I would probably say that it's going to be more than a 2-week process to come back. So our biggest thing for him is just to make sure we get him back healthy, and so he can be comfortable in the process to continue his career.
You talked about Jaden Woods on the teleconference today, but how big of an opportunity is this for him these last 2 weeks?
It's huge. I think he's proven how good and what kind of special player that he is throughout the season. I talked about this last week, but I talked with Coach Peterson, I should say, about it last week. He did a great job on the interception. He had the exact same look the week before, did a great job, stepped up, sold run, eyes on the quarterback, dropped back, saw coverage, was smart enough to understand that they flooded the field. So in order for any pass route would be coming back to him, dropped back in the zone coverage, did a great job catching it, and obviously getting upfield and changing the field position for us, and we ended up scoring a touchdown right away right after that. But he's a really good football player, physical, quick, strong, exceptional pass rusher. So I'm excited to see him. Obviously, he's continued to get better. The more reps you get, the better you're going to get against great competition.
Is Caleb Banks continuing to practice this week, and how's he looking?
He looks pretty darn good. He's a big body, obviously. Big body to get back in the middle of the defensive line. And he's excited. I think that's the one thing when you start talking about just how this program is and just the thought process of the players. You got a young man that fought hard. He went through rehab, continued to push it to make sure he could try to come back. And, he had the opportunity probably not to. You can either say I'm sore and I'm not going, but he was pressing. He wanted to play last week, obviously. Went out, put him through some drills, but he's looked good. And I'm excited to have him back in the middle of the defense for us.
What does it say about Caleb that, he could have turned his attention to beyond his career here at Florida, could have healed up a little more maybe, but what does it say about him that he wants to come out here and continue fighting with this team?
Well, I think that's one thing that we talk about is you want to fight for your teammates. You want to. We've had a couple really good speakers come through and talk to the team the last couple of days, and one of the things one of the speakers talked about was honor, courage, and commitment. And I thought that kind of summed it up exactly what you think about Caleb. You honor, courage, and commitment. Honor you making sure that your accountability for your actions, the courage that you're meeting your standards, the standards of the football program, the standards that he set forth on himself, and then the commitment part. And this is the big part, the commitment to you and your brothers and to the University of Florida. And those three things are that kind of put a stamp on who he is right there, to fight back, and again to be able to say, I'm going to come back and put it on the line, and I want to play these last couple games with you guys, my brothers out there. And again, you understand we're coming back home, and this is such a great place to play in front of the Swamp. So he's excited. Our team's excited as well. He'll bring some energy with him.
Do you know if Caleb will be on the injury report at all? Or is he good to go?
He was cleared last week, so the biggest thing is he's just got to feel comfortable getting ready to go. Again, he's been cleared. Obviously, the return to play, want to make sure he's physically in good shape. And he's done a good job. You start limiting how many reps you can kind of work your way through, keep increasing them throughout the week. Last week we did that, and then this week he's doing a really, really good job.
What's Urban's presence going to be? Is he going to be at a practice? Is he going to speak to the team? What's he going to do?
I don't know that yet. I've got to get on the phone with him. I'll probably call him tonight. I texted him yesterday, and I was going to try to call him last night. I didn't get a chance to. I believe he's still got to work on Saturday for his network, I believe, right? And then he'll come as soon as he's done with his responsibilities there. He'll come in and get into Gainesville. I would probably assume not. So.
Do you consider him your coach still? I mean, he's only 7 years old.
Coach Meyer?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, I think when you have a player-coach relationship, and I've talked about this before with some of the press, and I talk about it with my players all the time, the player-coach relationship, in my opinion, if done correctly, should be one of the best and the tightest relationships you've ever had in your life, besides your family that you grew up with or your future family that you will eventually have. Just because, the honesty, the transparency, again, what we just talked about, you're fighting with one another, you're in a foxhole as a player. You've got that trust in a coach that's responsible to develop you. So yeah, I think of him as a mentor, obviously. And as a coach, yes, I've always called. I don't call him Urban. I call him Coach if I see him, and he's always my coach. So, but there's tons of respect there. Yes, sir.
Give you a little more juice. I mean, you don't seem to need much juice, but just to show him, impress him, have the team playing at its highest level.
Well, I just want the players to play extremely hard. Obviously, I think that's the most important piece. It's always been about the players. In this game, it'll be about the players this weekend. But what a great opportunity to have a chance to honor Coach and everything that he accomplished here and in his career of being inducted. So I'm super excited. Like I said, I'll probably reach out to him today just to find out what time he'll be getting in, and then. I know he'll be pumped up. He'll get a chance to see Mr. Tubix, Jamel Cornelius, Cap, which we call him, get a chance to come out here. And then Bubba Caldwell stopped by my office today, and he's excited. He's coming back up. He's excited to get a chance to visit with Coach Meyer as well. I don't know. Those two guys I know for a fact that I've reached out to that came and reached out to me, and so I'm excited.
When's the last time you saw Bubba?
Bubba stopped by about a month and a half ago, somewhere around the summertime. He stopped by, him and his wife and his family. They stopped through on the way from Jacksonville down to Tampa. So, but it's always great to see him. It's Bubba had a chance. He came in and spoke to. I brought him in and had a chance to let him speak to the special teams today as well on both sides. Just because it's important. We always preach to the players about making sure that you're in a position here at the University of Florida to learn how to play special teams, the importance of it. Bubba had a spectacular career. He played 9 years in the NFL, but it was great to hear a former player who walked in front of the unit and tell everybody, listen, I'm the all-time leader in receptions here at the University of Florida. But you know what kept me in the NFL for 9 years was the ability to play special teams. I was a core special teams player on kickoff, punt return, punt team, everything. And for the young players to get a chance to hear that, and all of a sudden, we preach it, but all of a sudden you've got somebody that's been in your seat and had a chance to do the exact same thing on the same football field, preach to you guys about it, the importance of special teams. So anytime we get a chance to have former players educate our players and come back and speak, I think it's a nice touch.
Cornell Brown could give Bubba a run for his money with that record. The record reception.
Yeah, I don't know. We got a lot of football ahead of us to see where that one goes. But yes, he's coming along. He was out there today. Playing at the receiver position when you have a shoulder, it's always tough. Just for the simple reason is, if you get dinged a little bit, it's when you're blocking. I think the biggest thing is to make sure that you feel comfortable. You've got to feel comfortable being able to block. But again, it's when you're running and it's that pass, that pretty pass. That's the easy one. That's the easy one to catch. It's the pass where you want to try to go make a play where you're extending and it happens quick. And it kind of, I should probably say, would probably scare you a little bit more than what the real part of an injury is, because I think he's done a great job of rehabbing. Our Tony and Paul downstairs have done a fantastic job getting him back and making him feel comfortable. But he was out there running around today, and so we'll kind of play it by ear and see how he comes along the rest of the week.
Had some pretty dynamic returners the last couple of years, and DK and now Vernell this year before he got hurt. But to pop one to get a touchdown, is that still kind of a goal? I mean, it hasn't been done since 2020.
Oh, it's always a goal. Anytime you're back there, anytime you have a position to change the game. And I think, college football right now, I think it's a little easier to do that in the punt return game than it is kickoff anymore, just for the simple reason I think a lot of people are kicking that ball out of the end zone. They're doing a pretty good job of playing defense from that standpoint. But I do believe punt returners can take over a game and completely change the game. We saw that with Brandon James in the history that he did. We saw DK. We've seen some great players that have been through punt returners that have come and step on the field here. So yeah, that's always the goal. And I know Coach Joe Houston's hard at work trying to put together a scheme to capitalize on that as well.
I know a lot was made of Nico drama during the summer, but how has Joey Aguilar stepped in, and what do you see about his game?
No, I think he's a complete player. I think he's done a really good job. He spreads the ball around at an elite level. He's got a great group of wide receivers that he can rely on, and he does. And again, offensively, they're pretty equal. They're pretty even as far as run pass percentage. Just kind of looking. I know I got my stats here somewhere, but he's done a really good job of managing the offense. I mean, they're as explosive as can be. They're seventh in the nation in passing yards, seventh in passing yards per game, seventh in total offense, ninth in passing touchdowns, 10th in pass yards per completion, and he's closing in on 3,000 passing yards. So, he's a tough quarterback, and he makes a ton of great reads. He's got, like I said, he's got 3 really good receivers. Got one with great size and length. He's got another one that's built strong, and then he's got another one that's kind of a slippery receiver when he touches the ball. So, but he's done a good job of managing and getting his playmakers the ball.
How important is the explosive play battle this weekend? I know you mentioned earlier in the week, kind of wanted to continue stretching the field vertically.
It always is. We talk about on the offensive side, and I mentioned it before in here, but explosive plays lead to touchdowns, and they lead to points, and mostly touchdowns. So we've got to limit it. And kind of what I told the players last week is going to be kind of the same thing for this week is, guess what? There's going to be some things that happen. There's going to be some big plays made. You don't become a big play offense like the way that they are, and all of a sudden just have none. So are they going to hit some? Yeah, but again, it's about how we respond, how we bounce back. Don't let it fester. Don't let it affect the next play, and that's when it hurts you. If you let it affect the next play, and we've got to. That happened to us last week. You had a big play, and it was a changeover, and all of a sudden the next one leads to a touchdown. So we've got to shake it and move on to the next play. But yeah, anticipate it happening. But it's about how you respond to it.
You said after the loss to Kentucky that when you talked to DJ Lagway, you didn't really want him having the weight of the world on his shoulders. He seemed pretty discouraged after the Ole Miss game, said he was emotionally drained. How much have you guys just been trying to support him so that his confidence long-term isn't taking a hit, and this is going to be something that's a a learning experience for him down the line.
Sure. Again, you'll hear me keep saying reset and refocus with the quarterback. And, and I think that's been the main objective with him and continue the process. Again, everybody wants to be successful. And when you're successful, all of a sudden your energy level rises. All of a sudden the team starts to follow you a little bit. So, I've said before, we don't want him to have the weight of the world. We've told him, we've sat down with him and told him, listen, that's on us. Let us try to continue to keep putting you in the best possible position. You, at the minimum, just continue to improve on making those decisions. But relax, go play, have fun. And, I think that's the one thing. When you're relaxed, you're having fun, you're playing the game that you love, that's when you start popping and making those big plays.
Spirits have you seen him in? How much was he able to bounce back from what occurred last Saturday?
That's been good. He's been in the building. He came in the building again on Sunday right away just to check in. But yesterday's practice, Monday, Tuesday, today's practice, again, our goal is to continue to get better. Monday's a little shorter practice. Tuesday's a tough practice because you're getting a bunch of looks that you haven't seen. You're going to get some new plays that you put in. Today you kind of review, or Tuesday you kind of review some of those things again, and then today you move on to a third down goal zone area. So there's going to be some transitional pieces as far as new looks. And then when you go back and look at the first and second down, you kind of give them the processes. You want to make sure they get the base looks early. Later on in the week, which we are right now, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday process is to give them the looks that are the little tougher looks that you've now worked through the easier process. Now we can kind of move on to the next process to make the next checks. But he's done a really good job.
Coach, it's been, with the playoff coming up, and there's been talk about whether it's fair that, there's going to be a coaching cycle while the playoffs are going to happen. What do you think about that? Do you think that is fair for coaches, or?
Well, I honestly, I probably don't have too much of an opinion on that one right now. I mean, that doesn't. It's kind of going to be based off each school and each coach. They'll have their own decisions and what they do from the decisions that they make. So from my standpoint, again, I've not given too much thought to that at all. I just want to try to prepare our team to get ready to go play in the swamp and bring home a victory. So that's the only thing that I'm thinking about right now.
How are the Tennessee rivalry preparations going in terms of speakers and stuff and everything?
Sure. Well, again, this week for us, we've been very, very, very privileged. And again, this week for us is the saluting those who've served game. So obviously appreciation to the military personnel, the veterans and the first responders. So from that standpoint, that's kind of who we've had this week. We've been very blessed to, we've had Captain Leo Skihan, Gunnery Sergeant Montreal Knox. Today we just had a really cool guest, Rear Admiral Patrick Gator Hayden, and one of the unique stories with him, retired director of maritime headquarters, but he's a product of the University of Florida, and he was our mascot. He was Albert the Alligator back in the day. So it was pretty cool to have him talk, and we've had Lieutenant Brian Kitchen come speak to the team. So, but what's neat is it ties in, again, when we talked about the honor, courage, and commitment piece to it, and it really ties into our players. Everybody talks about, well, what are you playing for? Well, there you go. You've got a lot to play for, and some of the members of the service are kind of giving stories to our players that kind of tie. I've always said I don't like to compare the two. I think we can learn a lot from the service, but it's great to hear when I say when I've said that, but you hear a service member say, no, listen, there are a lot of comparisons, and let me tell you what the comparisons are. So, and it's neat, and I think it's great for our players to have a chance to thank them and get a chance to learn some stories and hear some different things about life.
You say Gator hate?
No. Gator, that's his nickname. It was Rear Admiral Hayden. So yes, Hayden, Hayden. No. He Hayden, yes. So, but yes, it's been fantastic to have have the guest speakers. It's phenomenal. Our players they enjoy it. So.
You talked about how Tennessee's a really balanced offense. They like to use the run game, obviously, to set up the explosive passes. How important is it going to be to eliminate that from their offense?
It is. It's again, whenever you have a team that has explosives, they usually produce points. So from our standpoint, we've got to reduce them. And the one thing their explosives come off of, they do a really good job. The majority, they're at a higher rate with their explosives in the play action game, much higher than the FBS than the average across the country. So they do a really good job of setting up their explosives off the play action game. So they do a good job.
Joey has he's turned the ball over 10 times this year. I mean, is that something your guys in the secondary are aware of? Like, keep our hands up, be ready for a possible turnover?
Absolutely. Today I had a chance to go over and sit with, or not sit, but watch the DBs and the corners working today. And Coach D. Will was doing a fantastic job working their hips, working the transition. So are they aware of it? Absolutely. We have, one of the things that we have downstairs that it's constantly looping. I talked to you guys about a video. We've down in our refueling station, we have 4 TVs that traditionally have former NFL players going throughout it. And what I've kind of done is on one TV, I've got a loop just about the rivalry about Tennessee. And that loops over throughout the day. On one TV, I've got the scouting report for offense. So the players, if they're walking there to go get a lift or refuel, as they're walking in the locker room, walking out to practice, they can take a look and see some of the scouting report, the tips that we have based off coverages, fronts, blitzes. On the other screen is the defense, so they're aware of they've got the same stats. Talked about what you just said, whether it's interception, yards, that's on one board, and then we have a special teams board going on too. So the players can stop by and take a look at that at all times, and they do have an idea of what the statistics are about the player that they're going to go against.